Welcome, weary traveler. You have stumbled across a comedy chronicle of cranial concoctions, a frenzied fusion of befuddled fables, an exacting expose on eclectic mythos. Should you brave ahead, you will find yourself enlightened, delighted, and only slightly misinformed on the many fantastical worlds that exist within our favorite media. Will you learn all there is to know? That I cannot say. But I can say it will be the lore you know.
Welcome to The Lore You Know, a podcast where three friends, and sometimes more, dive into the fantastical and often convoluted lore of media that we grew up with and love. And here to bring you the mostly correct facts about completely made up things this week are me, Fran.
Me, Ethan.
That's right. And I'm CJ, the third one. Guys, it happened today. I was going through the show notes for the last three shows. And we're plumb out. We've dug to bedrock of our knowledge of things. We are simply.
It's true.
We've covered
the
all
library.
Things that exist.
Everything that we've grown up with.
My Little Pony. What else is there?
The library of the knowledge that we share between the three of us. It's like a huge
tapped out
Parthenon library, but there's only like one dusty bookshelf in the corner, and that's just sort of everything we have. So I have gone through every possible candidate in the entire world that could possibly help teach us a little bit more about some fantastical media. And you know what? I found one. It was
surprising.
I know, it was painstaking. I spent millions of Ethan's dollars to do it, but in the end, I was able to find an amazing host who is known for her content about cryptids, the one and only Lizzie.
Hello.
Hello, Liz.
Thank you for having me on.
We're so delighted for you to be here. As I mentioned, everyone else has no further information, and I heard that you could help us out with some content that you are specialized in.
Yes. I'm here today to talk about a little show. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
And
Not familiar.
I'm a bit of a Scooby-Doo expert, a Scooby Dooby expert.
Okay. And this is, of course,
the original.
The young Scoobert. Yes, the Scoobert Doobert that goes around with his cell animated bros, and they go into spooky mansions and demask old men who are haunting a farmyard for some reason.
Yeah, he's Jack's plays. They're running through hallways. Yeah.
Yep. They run into one door, and then they run out of another door that's like farther down the hallway, and it's like, how did that happen?
That's legitimately my favorite bit when he does that.
Yeah.
How does he get to even in the one door? How does he get to the other door? That's not how doors work. That's ridiculous.
Huh. Well, I guess that pretty much covers it then. We've learned all of the things about Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
Great. Nice. Well, thank you for joining us, Lizzie. That was a very insightful
Very
one.
informative.
So we're talking about original Scooby-Doo. And I want to talk to you today about a particular Scooby-Doo that's called Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. And have any of you heard of this version of Scooby-Doo?
I have seen like a few episodes here and there, but I have barely any. I've seen maybe one episode from start to finish.
I assumed that might have been the name of the original, which it turns out it's not. So
No, the original Scooby-Doo is just called Scooby-Doo.
Well, that's misleading. There's a whole crew of them. The gang, even.
Am I
Yes.
do I count because you did have me watch a couple before the show just to like
You've seen some
proof
of
for
it,
the
sure.
show.
That counts.
I know about a pup named Scooby-Doo. I used to watch that all the
Yes,
time.
well, see, so that leads to my second question. I was going to ask all of you, what's your relationship with Scooby-Doo?
Spiritual.
Are you a Scooby-Doo heads, as we call them?
that can't there
That
has
cannot
to
be
be a
right.
better
No.
word.
That cannot
No.
be correct.
Are you Scoober Dooberts?
So I didn't grow up with cable. My channels were PBS, Fox, ABC, and that's about it. They love me some bunny ears. And we didn't get cable until I was like in middle school. And so the only time I saw Scooby-Doo is if it was like on the Boomerang, like fancy extra Cartoon Network channel. And so I only passively know some old original Scooby-Doo episodes.
And CJ, how about you?
I know everything about everything, and that's part of that. So I think I know pretty much everything, and I don't think there's anything you could do to determine that that's false.
Okay.
We're already
well,
getting contradictory on
um,
our background lore for our series here.
Well,
Uh,
I'm prepared to put that to the test anyway, because I've prepared a few pieces of Scooby-Doo trivia questions for all of
Yes.
you.
Love games.
That's right. We're back. We're back to our
Yes, game
favorite.
time.
We're back to our favorite running segment, for which there is no name.
We'll come with it.
Lore you. The lore you.
The lore you
know?
know.
The
The
lore,
lore
I
corner.
know.
I don't know.
All right. We have a lot of work to do on naming things, but that's fine. My first question is pretty simple.
Oh wait, how do we buzz it?
Oh, we're just going in.
in with
Oh, heck yeah.
No,
we have to
yeah.
buzz in with a. We have to buzz in with
No,
a catchphrase from one of the
no.
characters.
Ruh-roh,
I
Raggy?
get to. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, you can buzz in saying, just say Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh.
You can, Ethan. You can do Fred's catchphrase.
Wait, don't, because that's one of
oh,
my
is it? Oh,
Daphne,
okay.
how about you and I go and explore this dark room together while the rest of them figure out this mystery?
Yeah, that's what Ethan will
That's what he
buzz
says.
in with.
All right. All right, well, here's my first question for you. What is Scooby-Doo's full name?
I know the answer to this, but only because Lizzie told me right before this, so I'm not gonna answer that.
Yeah, that's like cheating.
Is
Yeah,
it
I
not just Scooby-Doo? Is that
I just
not?
remember it being
No.
Scooby Doo.
That is correct, Ethan. It is Scoobert-Doo.
All right, cool.
A lot of people think it's Scoobert-Doobert-Doo, but it is just Scoobert-Doo.
All right.
There's a lot of conflicting lore about his name, that sometimes he's named after Scooby Snacks, and sometimes I think Scooby Snacks are named after him.
The second one makes no.
Yeah, the
earthly
second one
sense.
doesn't
Yes.
sound right.
So I can't really tell you. It's not even relevant to this iteration of Scooby-Doo anyway. So, but his full name is Scoobert-Doo. Just Scoobert-Doo.
That's one. That's
Excellent.
one.
So,
Scooby,
1
that's
point
one
to Ethan.
Scooby snack for Ethan.
One Scooby snack for Ethan. Question 2. What is Shaggy's real name?
Oh,
Zoinks, dude. Let's go smoke some kush. That's what he always says.
That's something he likes to say, but
Norville Rogers.
it is Norville.
Got it.
Norville
That's just
Rogers.
that's just a thing I knew.
Norville Shaggy Rogers is correct.
that's a really
Very
bad
good.
name.
Like
Now we
Zoinks,
already
dude,
kind of
they
got
a
ahead of
weird old
ourselves.
Jewish name.
We already kind of got ahead of ourselves, but my next question was, what is each of the gang's catchword or catchphrase?
Is it like a
'Cause they-
point per, or are we just
No, you have to get all of them right.
Oh, God.
okay? All right, I'm gonna shoot for it.
You're not
Oh, I don't
buzzing
know.
in, Ethan.
I
Well,
think
he's
I
gotta
just
do,
did.
he's doing all the
That-
catchphrases now.
So Scooby's is just shouting Scooby Dooby Doo. Velma is Jinkies. We have Fred's is Let's Split Up Gang. And then we have Shaggy is Zoinks. But Daphne, does she?
It's the hardest one.
Yeah, that is hard. That is tough. Does she just
Oh,
also say
Freddy.
Jinkies?
No.
I thought Velma's was, I can't see a thing without my glasses, but I'm wrong. So.
That's just another thing. That's more of a trope that happens to her.
Oh, okay.
Is Daphne's just like, Fred, my period's late? Like, is that pretty close?
Kind of. It's
Okay, cool.
Kind
okay,
of.
close.
no, it's Jeepers.
Oh, Jeepers.
Oh, I
Jeepers.
remember that now. Yeah.
Jeepers, Fred.
Jeepers.
Wait,
Jeepers.
Is Fred's really Let's Split Up? I thought
Yeah,
he had something else.
No, Fred's is Let's Split Up, gang.
Oh.
He doesn't have a cool, fun word like
Yeah.
like
He's
everyone
all
else.
business.
Yeah,
He's
no,
like-
he
businessman.
kind of just like, I'm gonna push the plot forward now. Let's all split up because that works out so well for us every time.
I'm always gonna
You're
go
gonna
with
like.
Daphne.
I think you're gonna like
Yeah.
new Fred. You're gonna like new Frederick. I think Ethan.
Yes.
Yeah, I know a
next
little
question.
bit about New
So
Fred.
who gets the Scooby snack
Interesting.
for that one?
I don't think anyone. got any
Oh, I don't
Scooby
think
snacks
anybody,
for
'cause
that.
none of you could
Nobody
get
knew-
Jeepers.
Nobody knew
No
Daphne's.
Scooby snacks.
Next question. This is tough. What year did the original Scooby-Doo show premiere?
Oh, Ruh-roh Ragged.
19
I got it.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
1969?
you are correct.
Yes.
There's
Nice.
nothing funny. Nothing
thing.
funny about that.
I mean, no, that's the moon landing year.
That's a great
We
year.
did go to
Humans
the moon in
are- humans-
1969.
Humans accomplished a lot in that year.
And
The two
Scooby-Doo
most
big year for us.
important accomplishments
and
of
changed
mankind's
the
time.
world. All right, and this is my last question. That is,
this is the
This is the
tiebreaker. We all
tiebreaker,
won
yeah.
Scooby snack.
because you all got a point. All right, so this is more of a guess because there's no way you would know this question. How many total Scooby-Doo medias, so that's shows, movies, everything else, do you think there are?
Are we
Like
including
Zoinks,
like
man.
fruit snacks, or is this just like?
I'm not including
That's
food.
How many
Okay,
flavors
no,
of fruit snacks?
Hold
I-
on.
Scooby-Doo
I said
got?
media.
Do you think that we are a fruit snack company because we make media?
I don't-
Fruit
I
snacks
mean,
aren't media.
That's my
Now,
exposure
that
to
would be-
Scooby-Doo
hey,
is the grocery
That would
store.
be so rad, though.
Hey, Welch's, if you're listening and you want to turn
Was it
us
Welch's?
into
The Welch's fruit
fruit
snacks are very good. We could get the
The
If you
apple.
wanna
Scooby-Doo fruit snacks were
I
banging, though.
swear to
They're
God,
very
Welch's, if
They also
you
have
make me
Scooby
grape
snacks.
flavored,
There's, like,
I
graham
will.
crackers.
Yes.
I will absolutely
Yes.
tell all of your darkest secrets on
I
our
wanna be-
Instagram.
Sponsored by the apple flavored one because that one's
I will
hard to
get you
find.
canceled, Welch's.
Okay,
I
hold
want to
on.
be the dark. I want to be the non-see-through blue one that
Is-
Scooby was.
so
Those ones tasted
Is
the
each
best.
movie considered
Yeah.
as separate media, or because
Yes.
there's like a
Yes.
pseudo group of them? Okay,
So movies,
they're
yes,
separate.
movies and TV shows.
total movies, total shows, total anything else.
Not
Right,
episodes, but
Like
Alright.
video.
Alright.
No, not episodes, just shows.
I've got it. Zoinks, man. All
right,
got the
what's-
munchies.
Can
what's
we
your
each guess
guess?
a number?
Sure.
No, only one person guesses.
No, all
Uh,
of you guess a number.
It's exactly 29.
Okay. Fran or Ethan, what's your guess?
It's 14.
Oh, my
Okay.
guess
You're,
is
you're
going to
so
be
wrong, Ethan. I could name 14 off the top of my head.
21.
There are 184.
Holy shit! I was so much
Wait,
smarter
Scooby-Doo
than all of
medias.
you.
Wait. I feel like we're.
Would you like me to break it down for you? Because
I would
have
love-
Oh yeah,
I would
let's spend the
love
next
that.
40 minutes just listening to all
184.
184.
There are. I honestly would say there's about almost 200 because there are several things in production that have not come out yet.
Yeah, so
So
what
what,
are
are,
you-
what are these things? Are you
So-
counting like
so,
per
yeah.
episode here, or
No. Okay, so there are 13 different shows.
okay?
There are 10 episodes of shows that they crossed over with that wasn't their own show, that they appeared in someone else's
Mm.
show. There are 60 movies.
there's 60
60
movies by themselves.
Okay, are these like TV
That's not
movies
right.
or like?
It's-
I mean, there are a lot of TV
I
movies.
I
course
threw
they're
all of them
TV
together.
movies.
TV movies, direct to
No,
video,
60
and
theatrical
and
releases.
theatrical.
Well,
Rituals.
direct to video movies. Like, come on.
There are 46 shorts that were separate from the show and separate from a movie.
Okay, well,
There are
counting those seems kind of.
there
Good,
are
continue.
15 there are 15 comic series and
No.
14 singles.
Wait, comics count as media series, but Welch's
yeah, that's a media.
don't?
Wait, singles as in
And
like
then-
albums, or just like one-offs?
No, as in like one off of comics.
Okay.
Like it wasn't a series; it was just a single issue.
Got it.
And then there are 20 video games.
Oh my
Nice.
goodness gracious!
There's
Then,
an idea for the
Last
channel,
but not
so
least,
Scooby-Doo.
I was pleasantly surprised to find out there are 6 stage plays of Scooby-Doo.
Hell yeah,
I was
dude.
waiting for the
Yes.
stage plays. Yeah, sure.
Is one of
okay.
them a musical at least?
I don't know. I had no idea there were stage plays
How
of
did they-
Scooby-Doo,
Well, we
and
should
I
find
would
the musical.
I would love to see one.
Mm.
We could talk a lot about all of the iterations of
gosh.
Scooby-Doo, but I really want to talk about one. And that's Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, which aired on Cartoon Network from 2010 to 2013. I missed this at the time. I did not watch this, but I watched it later in life. But this was the third Scooby-Doo reboot show, past the original one. This one is, I think, what I've gathered is the favorite of all time of Scooby-Doo besides the original, because it's considered to have set the blueprint for all of the future reboots of Scooby-Doo, and it was really well received. It was well received then, like critically and audience-wise, and it's still well liked and considered the best Scooby-Doo reboot there's been. To kids, this was a scarier and edgier Scooby-Doo than most.
Sexier.
Yeah. And it lasted 2 seasons. I was surprised at how much I think censors have changed since when this aired, because there were a lot of things that I thought would not fly these days on
Yeah.
Cartoon Network.
They said fuck a lot.
No.
They had a lot of racial slurs that are questionable.
Scooby-Doo said fuck all the time. I was very surprised.
Yeah, well, he usually just goes ruck, so that's how they got around the censors.
Right,
But
yeah,
now he talks normal. So
This was the first Scooby-Doo that diverted a little bit from original Scooby-Doo in that it has an overarching plot.
Cool.
So it keeps the Monster of the Week format, but also threw in a plot that is continuous.
it's very anime.
It's very anime. It's very fun, and I am just gonna say out the gate, I think they did a great job, and I do really like this show. It's very enjoyable to watch if you ever want to watch it. It is quite adult. I believe the writers of this show were aiming to capture the older audience who watched original Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, they wanted.
Just like I said, I mean, Scooby-Doo swears like up a storm in this one.
Uh-huh.
Right. Unscrew the little top to the tube of this ancient scroll. Take the scroll out, unfurl it. Tell us the lore. Give us the background.
I
for
will.
Scoobert
Yeah, you said it
Doober
rebooted
Doo.
it, so like
I'd be honored.
Yes.
Yes,
CJ, you've already you failed it. That was
Hey,
the wrong
Eth-
name.
hey,
we just
hey.
went over this, CJ. We had a whole
Hey.
mini game to teach people.
This show takes place in a new town called Crystal Cove.
Oh.
And all of the familiar faces are there. Fred, Daphne, Velma, Shaggy, Scooby-Doo.
Old Man Jenkins.
This is also the first show.
Yeah,
no, Old
literally,
Man Jenkins is not in
Ethan.
this.
Yes, Old Man Jenkins is there.
Old Man Jenkins is their best friend. He's actually the new member of the mystery gang.
They take off Scooby's mask. It turns out it was him all along. He was just pretending to be a dog.
At some point,
Um,
we have to separate out. Like we're doing too many bits. Someone who just took a little show and was. I guess Old Man Jenkins is part of their crew now.
No,
wait, he's not actually
That's
part of
what
the
I
crew.
learned today.
No, he's not.
Okay.
It's the original mystery gang. This show, the setup of this show is that so they live in Crystal Cove, and all of original Scooby-Doo is implied to have taken place before this show starts. So like all of the original Scooby-Doo monsters are actually seen in a museum in town. Like they have like statues of them. So it's implied that that was in the past of where the show starts.
Which has
Okay.
huge implications. Because first off, it's like Scooby had a lisp before or something, and then just learned how to talk
They
better.
They even reference there's a statue of Scrappy in the museum,
Oh,
and
no.
there's a point where they show it, and Daphne's like, "Wow, remember?" And Fred is like, "No, we said we'd never speak of him."
Okay.
So they do
Oh my
reference that all happened, but it's just in the past. Basically, the town hates them. They are meddling kids to literally everyone. Crystal Cove is labeled itself the most haunted place on Earth, this town that they live in. And the gang goes around solving mysteries, unmasking villains, and everyone hates that because that's their tourism. They have haunted tourism, and so they are ruining all of their tourist attractions. So, and on top of that, the sheriff just doesn't like them being involved in crime. He thinks they're always in the way of what should be his job. And then in general, just the rest of the townsfolk do not like them and think they're weird and annoying. Their parents all really disapprove of their mystery solving. So they are disliked by everyone.
Like, I would understand it if it was just like, yeah, they go around and disprove fake haunted houses and stuff, but they're always solving crimes. There's always crime involved in these, like,
yeah, but they're vigilantes, Ethan. They're not allowed to. You can't just go out and like tie up random people.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
committing crimes. They're
just like, oh, those darn kids. They showed that the underwater seaman was actually just a dude in a mask. It's like, yeah, they showed he was a dude in a mask who was like smuggling cocaine through the town. Like,
yeah, but all the evidence they gained, you can't use in court. They didn't get that through legal means. That's tainted
the sheriff
evidence.
Really just like them. I love. The sheriff is one of the main characters, and I love him, Sheriff Bronson. His first name is Sheriff, and his last name is Bronson.
Okay.
He's also voiced by Patrick Warburton.
Voiced by Patrick Warburton.
Like, oh, you kids always getting in my way, trying to solve
He's
mysteries.
A great character, but
he's very empathetic, I'll say, already.
He's
trying to do his job.
He's very incompetent.
Yeah, so he's very bumbling.
But yeah, he hates that they get involved in everything. Also, I need to point out that Fred's dad is also the mayor, Mayor Jones, and he's also always on the scenes of when they solve mysteries, and he's like, why would you do this, Fred? This was a great tourist attraction. I can't believe you do this. Stop this stupid mystery solving.
Yeah, there's
ruining everything.
Fred, it's fine if a little coke goes through the town, so long as we get those sweet, sweet tourist dollars.
He always says, like, every time he shows up, he says, like, the most nonsense new phrase that no one says. Like, I'm pretty sure he says things like, galloping gophers, Fred, what are you doing here?
Yeah, that's pretty
fun.
good.
But I have to also set up that Crystal Cove is the most haunted place on Earth. That's what it says on their sign on the entrance to town. Crystal Cove was a town founded by Spanish conquistadors who came to the town long ago and mined the town for crystals in the coves beneath the town. This
how
is
Spanish
really
conquistadors love crystals.
Yeah,
they came to the New World because they're like, there's crystals in those hills.
They also came for another reason. They supposedly left a huge, cursed treasure beneath the town that no one has ever found, and everyone who has gone looking for this treasure has vanished.
So this is the plot.
This is the overarching plot of this story.
Finding the cursed treasure.
Yeah, so every episode there is the standard monster of the week, but throughout, things start being sprinkled in about this treasure. Number one being the gang starts getting messages from mysterious person whose name is Mr. E.
No, it's not.
Do you get it?
No.
Do you get it?
It's Mr. E.
It took me a moment.
No.
Yeah.
Mr. E.
It's pretty it's pretty good. It's a bit of a thinker, I would say.
So the gang starts getting cryptic messages from someone named Mr. E, who they are not really quite sure if Mr. E is on their side or against them.
They don't know things about
it's a
Mr.
mystery.
E. Yeah. All right.
Yes,
cool.
he is.
They have yet
is
to
a mystery.
uncover thing. They have yet to uncover Mr. E.
Yes, but he in beginning episodes, he begins sending them messages to help them solve the current mystery happening in an episode. He starts when the gang initially finds. When solving a mystery that happened to be in some of the caverns beneath town, they find a mysterious locket that is shaped like a magnifying glass. And inside this locket is a picture of two teenagers, teenage sweethearts. They do not know who these people are, but Mr. E starts contacting them after they found this to tell them they made a mistake in digging that up.
It's the hook.
That's the hook. Daphne
Okay.
just wears this locket around for the rest of the show. I'm not really sure why. She's like, that's so sweet. I'm going to wear this. These two teenage strangers who I do not know.
Daphne
that's-
is psychotic.
I really should set up the premise
Yeah,
of how
the
all of the
character-
relationships of these characters starts
No,
because
that's definitely
The
good.
characters are the same.
I
but
was
their
wondering to
personalities
they are
myself.
the
tweaked.
same.
Yeah,
They're
I
the
was-
same, but also this show, like I said, did kind of like set the new blueprint for these characters because Fred and Daphne in particular were kind of always they were quirkless. They didn't really they were boy and girl was their original personalities,
Mhm.
whereas Velma and Shaggy and Scooby had more defining quirks.
Mm-hmm.
This show did a good job of changing that up a little bit. Daphne is very capable mystery solver, and she's also so obsessively in love with Fred, who is completely oblivious to it.
Oh, dear.
Fred is obsessed with traps. He's obsessed with traps. That's all he thinks about is making traps. He makes scrapbooks of traps that they've
Oh.
made in the past. He subscribes to
Is that a subscription
traps.
box?
No,
he subscribes to Traps Illustrated, which is seen throughout the series that has
mhm.
women in bikinis on the cover holding like traps. Yes, that's
No,
all
that's not-
he
that
cares
is-
about.
Right, that's
all
not
he
a
cares-
personality trait. That is his personality.
That's
Is
amazing.
that he is obsessed with traps and trapping things.
I do want to say that by word of God, as in the writers confirmed this outside of the show, that Fred is on the autism spectrum, and this is a hyper focus of his is traps.
Interesting.
That's all he's pretty good at it though. Like they
I mean,
use
yeah, he's
the
amazing.
traps
That's
to-
like he's great at it. He always catches everything.
right.
Did
So-
the
so that's-
traps
that's
work
really-
in this one instead of the usual
Yeah, they
thing where,
always
like,
they always do.
Yep.
There's
Yeah,
there's
I
some
remember the
there's
old
sometimes
show.
it doesn't.
I remember the old show constantly being like the trap bumbles and fails, but then somehow just like Scooby and Shaggy trip over something and catch the guy on accident by falling onto
Yeah.
him.
No,
Yeah.
they do generally work in this show.
So he's
he's
getting
very good
better.
at
He's
it.
improving.
Yeah, I mean, so that was all practice because that was in the past, literally in this show.
Right.
Velma and Shaggy and Scooby are basically the same, except Velma and Shaggy are secretly dating at the beginning of
Oh.
this.
Secret to everyone, including Scoobert Doobert,
Yes.
the doggo.
The Scoober too.
Shaggy really wants to keep their relationship a secret because he's worried about how Scooby will take it.
Uh-huh.
because
Mhm.
he
He's
is
worried
also,
about how his dog will take that he has a girlfriend.
He'll have less time for
Um,
his dog. Yeah.
And
that's-
this is an ongoing conflict in season 1 that Velma really wants Shaggy to be fully committed to her and be an open couple. She's very lustful for Shaggy, I have to say, but she's also very mean to him and also seems like she doesn't actually like him.
classic.
she is. Yeah,
She
no,
tries
no-
to change everything about him. There's a point where she like is telling him she doesn't want him to eat as much junk food, which is pretty pivotal to Shaggy's character.
This is not like Shaggy lives a
He's
healthy
so
lifestyle.
skinny.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
slim.
he's got a
he
great
works out a lot.
metabolism.
He does a lot of cardio. That's like absurd. That's absurd.
Yeah.
I-
She's very mean to him. I have to say I really don't like Velma in season 1. She's for lack of a better word, she's quite a bitch.
She
So it's
the
like
word of
they-
a-
Karen.
they were like, Velma has always been kind of sassy. What if we just made her an asshole? Is basically
she's
what
a bit of a
happened in season 1.
contrarian, if you know what I mean.
I really like that they came to this and they were like, how do we improve on the female character's personality? Like,
make
what
them
if we
obsessed
made
with
both
men.
of them just so thirsty?
Lustful
Just
for the two
so
men.
thirsty.
The best part about the decision is that they alternatively made the men want nothing to do with the women in the slightest. Like it's not even
Yeah.
it's not
Shaggy-
even close.
So after speaking with Mr. E, the gang finds a photo in one of the old yearbooks of their school that is a club that was called Mystery Incorporated. And there's a picture of 4 teens and a parrot. 2 of those teens are from the locket that Daphne found.
Mm.
So we've established that there was a mystery solving club before them.
But what happened to
But
them?
what happened to them? Eventually, we find out that this group of teenagers went missing looking for the conquistador treasure.
Mm.
And Mr. E keeps being very wishy-washy about whether or not that they should continue trying to dig up information about these teens, or whether or not they should just forget about them. Like, I would say it's very contradictory through season 1 about whether or not they should keep messing with that stuff or forget it. But I think he just can't make up his mind, because we eventually find out that Mr. E is actually Ricky Owens, who was one of the original Mystery Incorporated. He was the Shaggy figure.
Oh.
Because they all fit the same archetype. Like,
Right,
there was a
yeah.
Velma, there was a Shaggy, there was the two in the locket were the Fred and Daphne. One of them is Brad. And then the
Brad
parrot
and
is the
Daphne.
Scooby.
Is the parrot Ricky Owens' pet then?
Yes.
Because Scooby's Shaggy's? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
The parrot
What
can
kind
talk.
of snacks
Um,
does the parrot eat?
Sunflower seeds.
Oh, that's lame.
Pretty simple.
That's
Yeah,
not-
it's not as fun or catchy.
Did
the
he
pa-
go?
the- So their names are Cassidy Williams was the Velma character, Ricky Owens the Shaggy, Brad Giles the Fred, and Judy Reeves the Daphne, and then Professor Pericles the parrot, who has Professor Pericles has a German accent for some reason. Like, he talks, by the way.
Oh, his parrot.
I don't much care for that.
No one really cares that Scooby talks. It's never really acknowledged. But then, like, when we first meet Professor Pericles, they're like, oh my god, that parrot talked. And someone
like-
else is like, yeah, parrots usually
Yeah,
talk.
it's like,
Yeah.
have you not met parrots before or heard of them in media?
I did forget to mention that back when I was saying the entire town hates them, they actually do have one collective friend, and her name is Angel Dynamite, and she is a radio station host. So
What a name.
she's not even in their age group. She's like an
Fran.
adult woman.
Okay.
I would like you to describe Angel Dynamite, knowing nothing about her but
Yes.
her name.
My mind, she's blonde, white, and somewhat curvaceous.
All right, Ethan,
You
I
got
want you
one
to
part right.
I want you to do a better job of describing Angel Dynamite to the audience.
All right. So I'm kind of imagining one of those like leather over jackets that has the tassels that come down to create an American flag.
Fringe.
And also curvaceous.
Okay.
Curvaceous is correct.
The common
Angel
denominator.
Dynamite is a black woman with an afro and really awesome neon makeup and like a cool like neon like 70s bodysuit. Everyone wears 70s styles clothes in this show. However, it definitely takes place in like the present because they have laptops and stuff.
Oh, it's interesting.
It's just the
Okay.
style.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of achronosis.
Okay.
It doesn't have
Yeah.
a specific time.
see,
it
that-
takes
Well-
place in.
That makes a lot of sense. I was thinking about more of a like Dukes of Hazzard kind of thing, but we have more of a Black Dynamite kind of thing here.
Mhm.
It's exactly more like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's cool. She's friends with the kids and lets them hang out at the radio station sometimes. She ends up being acting very suspicious with all the Mr. E stuff.
Mm.
And turns out she is also one of the original Mystery Incorporated. Her real name is Cassidy Williams.
Oh,
Whoa, she's the
Um,
smart one.
I didn't learn any of this.
Yes, and by the end of season 1, the gang does find this out, and they are very mad at her for the deception because she's been kind of allowing the things with Mr. E to go on through a bunch of minor mysteries. The gang starts discovering something called the Planispheric Disc, which is broken into 6 pieces. The full disc put together is said to be a map to the conquistador
Is this a
treasure.
cult? Are we in a cult area now?
Ethan, if you're saying this now, you are not going to be prepared for what
Ethan
begins to
straight up
happen.
is not prepared.
Okay, sure.
If you followed the the Twitter at Spices With, you might have a good idea where this is going, but Ethan doesn't. So
I don't. Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't.
So they end up getting kind of caught in a chase to find all these pieces of the Planispheric Disc because
Season
2? Nope, this is still season 1 because
all right.
they, in one episode, Scooby, because he is framed, gets sent to the Crystal Cove Animal Asylum for the Criminally Insane, which is a place that exists in Crystal Cove. And there, locked up in a straitjacket, they find Professor Pericles, who looks much more evil than he did in that yearbook photo.
That
he looked
sounds
like a sweet little parrot.
A convoluted way of saying that, like, oh, we sent him to the farm upstate.
Actually an asylum. Great.
He sent him to the asylum for criminally insane birds
he's
and
in
such.
like a bubble in his own room, and he's in a straitjacket in the bubble, and all the guards are like, yeah, he's so dangerous and evil, and you don't talk to him.
Well, he was German. He had the German accent.
Yeah, he has a German accent
okay.
also, and he calls the gang the Kinder. Yeah.
You want to solve the mystery, young Scoober to do.
Well, he escapes, and the gang finds out that he is looking for the Planispheric Discs. And they're and Mr. E is kind of like, you guys need to stop the parrot. You need to not let him get Planispheric Disc pieces.
Parrot turned evil.
Maybe. So
all talking animals eventually become evil.
This is all happening. The gang does get a couple pieces of the Planispheric Disc. I believe they get 2, but then Professor Pericles also gets another piece. It turns out Fred's dad, the mayor, had a piece of the Planispheric Disc. Weird. So I just need to quickly condense this, but it is kind of insane. But what happens at the end of season 1 is that they find out that the original Mystery Incorporated was run out of town under threats by someone called the Freak of Crystal Cove.
That's so rude.
They were run out of town because the Freak wants the pieces of the Planispheric Disc, and they were looking for it. And that's why they disappeared. And then suddenly the Freak starts appearing again in the present to the current gang. They unmask him, and it's Fred's dad, the mayor.
Fred's dad, the mayor.
Oh,
Galloping gophers, Fred. I'm the Freak.
Oh, that's
Sorry,
why he
Fred,
doesn't
but
want him to
I'm a white person in power. I didn't think there'd be any repercussions.
So here's what happened. Once Mayor Jones, before he was mayor, found out about the Conquistador treasure, he dressed as the Freak to go looking for the Planispheric Disc pieces. He ended up teaming up with Professor Pericles, who betrayed the original Mystery Incorporated because he wants that treasure for himself.
Parrot
what?
For himself?
The parrot wants it.
I
don't
want
know what
treasure.
More
What's not clear
seeds,
about that?
And I need gold to buy seeds with.
I don't know what's not clear about that. That's the parrot wants it.
But, okay.
Well, no, hold on. I'm not done.
Okay.
So,
I feel like you should be.
So he and Pericles, Mayor Jones and Pericles, team up and they frighten and blackmail the rest of the Mystery Incorporated into giving up their Planispheric Disc and leaving town forever. Then Mayor Jones, he betrays Pericles and implicates him in the disappearance of Mystery Incorporated, and he gets put in the asylum. That's why he was there.
He did help with that.
You're not ready for this next part.
Okay.
Because then Fred's dad, the mayor, he kidnaps Fred, who is actually the child of Brad and Judy.
What?
In order to blackmail them into for sure not coming back to Crystal Cove. So Fred is not the son of Mayor Jones. He is the son of Brad and Judy of Original Mystery Incorporated.
That's such a good twist.
That's so messed
Okay,
up.
hold on. So he kidnapped their son so they wouldn't come back?
Yeah, I guess.
This is just like the man
And then
in
I
raised
feel
him
like
as
this
his
gives
own
you the
thing.
opposite effect.
Yeah,
He's
I don't really. I don't
Oh,
know.
fuck, I'll kill him. I'll
and
kill
then
your son.
he
Just
got
got
the
him by
blame
soft
put on
spot.
Professor Pericles, and he got put in the asylum. But it was all for like one piece of the Planispheric Disc, and there are 6. But that's how
you're burning a
season
lot of
1
bridges.
ends.
Yeah,
to
no, this
start.
is
That
right,
seems
it
like
was
an
like
end game move.
17 years later,
boy.
he's found 0 more pieces
So-
of the disc.
So that's how season 1 ends. Is
Oh my God.
that's uncovered, and
Does the gang know?
the
all
gang
this?
yeah the gang finds all of this out, and they also all get in trouble with the law for real because
Oh.
they kind of started to suspect Mayor Jones had something he was hiding, and they like got caught breaking into the mayor's office.
Mm.
So they are put in jail, and
Wait, that's just like Fred's dad's office.
yeah, I know, but still
Except
they were
his
breaking
actual
and
dad,
entering.
apparently, so.
Who would
But not his
convict
actual
that?
dad
Whatever.
also.
I just
Well, so
hold on.
So season
hold
1
on.
ends on all this being found out, but also it ends with the gangs splitting up. Like
But they're in
splitting
jail
They're
up.
in
together?
prison
Because, well, so all their parents are pissed at them, obviously.
because they're
Fred
Children
goes
or
looking.
juveniles, either.
Fred leaves to go look for his new parents, or his original parents.
His old parents.
Yeah, his old parents.
Real
Shaggy
parents.
gets sent to military academy.
I knew it. Okay, I was like, isn't Shaggy like a veteran or something?
Yeah, he gets sent to military academy, and Scooby gets sent to a farm, which is like a
Oh,
dog
no, they
jail.
killed Scooby?
They killed Scooby.
He gets
Oh,
sent to a
no.
farm that's like a jail, and then Daphne and Velma are just like left in Crystal Cove.
Yeah, I
We've
mean,
got
they're just-
another
they're
dog
doing
for
the girls
dog
thing.
jail. Oh, I'm so glad we built dog jail.
Okay, I
Yes,
need to
Fran-
recap some
Fran-
things about
Yes.
this town of Crystal Cove.
Fran,
One,
you have
Yes.
like 2 minutes.
I
Yes.
need to clarify. So this is, I'm assuming there's a court system of some sort that has put
Yeah,
this
the
parrot,
sheriff.
the parrot, into this asylum that was presumably established even before the parrot. So they have a history of criminally insane animals in the town.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then there was
That's-
obviously a spot for Scooby, but they also don't have a good enough like records keeping department that would have like the birth certificate of Fred to show that he was
Well,
the son, or like
where would that
adoption
be?
records, or
Where would that be, Fran?
I don't know. The mayor.
Yeah,
He became
they
the
keep it
mayor.
in
But
City
was the
Hall,
ma- was
where
he
the
always the
mayor
mayor?
lives.
was he
No, he
always
wasn't-
the mayor?
He
I didn't
wasn't
think
when
so.
he was doing that stuff.
Yeah.
No, I don't. But when he became mayor, mayors have infinite power. I don't know if you guys know that. I don't know if you guys are ready for season 2
Well,
because it
when-
only
ready or not, here you
it
go.
only escalates in ways you
goodness.
cannot imagine.
What made the
um,
parrot go
se-
crazy? That's what I
Season
wanna
2
know.
opens. Season 2 opens to the town in complete disarray. They are being terrorized by a clown baby. Yes, that's correct. It is a clown baby.
Is this related to the gang leaving? There's like no one solving crime, so
It's like-
more and more weirdos
It's
are
like no one can do anything about these horrible crime villains because this mystery gang has left. Like nobody can
Uh-huh.
stop this clown baby
Vigilantes are
who's a man dressed as a baby with clown makeup on.
Uh-huh.
I really hate this part.
Uh-huh.
I just want you to know that that's happening. There's
Okay.
a new mayor. There's a new mayor because
Did they have
Fred's
an
dad
election?
went to jail. Well, they had to because Fred's dad went to jail.
Why
Her
did
name's
Fred's
Janet
deep lore
Nettles.
there is the
Why did
election
Fred's
of the
dad
new
go to
mayor.
jail? I thought he managed
Because
to
he
mess
was
with all
the
records.
freak. He was the freak of Crystal Cove. I mean, that probably was part of it, but
Yeah,
also
they-
he
they-
was like literally being a villain around town.
They
Yeah.
unmasked him. If you
Okay.
unmask a person in
If
the
you
middle of
unmask
town,
someone,
they
they go
have
to
to go
jail.
to jail.
Yeah.
That's how the
Okay.
criminal
Uh-huh.
system works
No, I
here.
mean,
The
you
criminal
can also
justice system.
kidnapping, like falsifying records.
Yeah, I was
you
gonna say
know,
he
it's-
also just did a lot of bad things.
Again, all things mayors are allowed to do, but you can't dress up like a monster and terrorize the town.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's the
so
one
he's
thing.
Yeah.
in jail.
So he's in jail. There's a new mayor.
Big jail.
She's given advice to round up Mystery Inc. So she does. She gets Scooby from the farm jail. They shoot at him when he is
Breaks him
trying
out.
to break out of the farm. And then Scooby uses a tank to break Shaggy out of military academy. In typical Scooby fashion.
How does he use the pedals?
I don't
You
know.
have
He
to
has
use
He,
pedals?
like,
legs.
literally-
He has 4 legs.
They like he
Okay, how does he
breaks
use the
down a wall
handles?
with a tank and he comes out of it and he threatens to shoot all of them.
Like Zoinks, sorry, that's my dog. I gotta go.
Oh my
Sorry,
word.
military dad.
I gotta train him better.
Don't call me. Don't call me that.
Again, I'm your CO. Do not call me military dad.
All right, see you, military daddy. I gotta get out of here. Like,
That one's
jeez,
actually
dude.
fine.
He does talk to the sergeant like that.
Yeah, that's.
He's like, I'm pretty sure it like cuts to him and he's like, the sergeant's like, do you take this seriously? And
No.
Shaggy's like, do you want me to answer honestly?
Okay,
Oh my
so
God.
breaks
well,
Shaggy
so,
out of
yeah,
military
so
school.
So,
Mhm.
How'd they find Fred?
and they pick up Fred. He looks haggard and has like a long beard, and he's just been going like door to door
like
looking for his
17.
parents.
How many days has it been?
I don't know. I really do not know how much. I
beard
assume
amount
it's
of
been
time.
like a couple
Yeah, Ethan,
months.
how long did it take for you to grow
I think it's
that?
been a couple months.
20
So they dropped out of
minutes.
school and got ran out of town, kind of.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they were like only Shaggy and Scooby got sent away. Fred
Okay.
went looking for his parents.
Okay,
Velma
so
and
he dropped
Daphne are
out of
still
school.
in town.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he dropped out of school to find his parents. Shaggy got sent to military school. Scooby was in a farm. Got it.
Velma's herself. The only thing that's changed is that she is now secretly working for Mr. E. Looking
Okay.
for Planispheric Discs. She's also working alongside a character that was like minorly introduced in season 1, whose name is Hot Dog Water.
No.
Right.
Because she smells
That's her
like hot
name.
dog
It's
water.
because
Okay.
she smells like the water after you boil hot dogs in it.
Okay,
Why?
just
Her
Why
real
did
name's
she do that?
Her real name's Marcy. She worked because her dad owns a
dog stand,
fairgrounds. It's
presumably?
not
That's-
important.
I
That's so
literally
spiritually unfair.
Just know that she's best friends with Velma.
yeah. So
Maybe
I,
more.
I was going through the show
Oh,
notes before
no.
we started, and I was like, "Hey, Lizzie, do we have to mention hot dog water as a main character?" And she was like, "Yes, she is
Yeah.
integral to the plot." And I said, "Well, it's still a mean nickname."
That's like literally what everyone calls her. There's a point where she's like, my real name's Marcy. And then she was like, okay, Marcy. And then like the next episode, they're like, hot dog water.
It's so mean.
So
I-
Daphne.
I also bring her up. Yes, I bring her up because Daphne is she was really heartbroken over Fred leaving.
Yeah, that's her.
Because they
defining
were
character trait.
engaged. They were engaged.
With an onion
But
Uh-huh.
she's over it by the time they come
Oh,
back, and she's in
classic
fact given up
woman.
mystery solving. She's dating famous actor Baylor Hotner.
Is that a real? I don't know actors that well.
It's
Is
Taylor
that a real
Lautner.
actor?
It's Taylor Lautner.
Oh,
David
okay,
Lautner.
sure.
He's Baylor Hotner is from the acclaimed film series Dusk.
Me and Ethan over here, like,
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Just like Taylor Hotner was in Twilight. You can tell this show is from 2010.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
That was
don't
still
like
that
this.
was still Twilight phase. He turns out to be the clown baby and goes to jail. And Daphne
okay.
that's what
classic.
ends up
Rough.
getting Daphne to rejoin the gang again and pick up mystery solving. But in
Uh-huh.
that in between time, I brought up Hot Dog Water because Hot Dog Water briefly is their Daphne replacement,
Mm.
and she even replaces her in the opening. Like there's like 3
That's
episodes
good.
that Daphne
That's
is not in the
detail.
opening,
That's
and
good attention to
it's
detail.
Hot Dog Water.
That's
love
funny.
that.
I like going.
I
She
appreciate
even, like,
that.
Daphne's like part in the opening as she hugs a picture of Fred and then like has a flashlight.
Please don't tell me she hugs a picture of hot dog.
Hot Dog Water hugs a picture of Velma.
Aw.
They
Oh.
are heavily implied to get
Yeah,
together at the
Velma-
end of the
Velma's a lesbian
series.
now.
Velma
I-
gets over Shaggy, and
Liz-
and really is heavily implied to be into women across season 2. So
It's great.
Listen,
there's
like,
that.
yeah, I don't want to be against like heteronormative, like blah blah blah, but why would you want to be with someone who smells like hot dog water to the point that their
They
name
get
is
each
hot
other.
dog water?
Ethan.
You will
Ethan.
never understand a warrior's
It's
bond.
true love.
So the gang gets back together after a lot of, hijinks. And they're back on track to trying to stop Professor Pericles from getting all the pieces of the planispheric disc.
Lizzie, would you say
because-
they're having high jinkies?
He has 3 pieces at this
Oh
point,
my
right?
god.
How long?
Yes,
do
he
parrots
ended
live?
he ended season 1 with 3.
Like
Okay,
legitimately,
yeah.
parrots live like 100 years. Parrots
Okay,
are like
cool.
the turtles
are
of
really old.
birds.
All right, cool.
So
cool.
then surprise, Brad and Judy show up in town, Fred's original parents.
Okay.
They show up in town, and they also have a dog named Nova who Scooby starts dating.
Oh.
He falls in love with their dog Nova. She looks kind of like Lady ripoff from Lady and the Tramp.
Okay.
Is there?
She's a regular dog. She doesn't talk or anything.
Is there
hold on. I take a
I can
huge
accept that.
exception to that. No. That's like if I started dating a pretty convincing monkey that looked almost human-like. You'd be
They're
like,
both
wait,
dogs.
I mean, are you saying?
Well, we're all just monkeys, Fran. You
No,
can't just start
that's not
dating
how-
a monkey.
Are you saying
No, that'd
Scooby
be a
should
homo-
date
yeah.
humans?
I'm saying you should date a dog that has been gifted the ability to talk like
We
he
have
has.
yet to meet
I
another
don't know.
dog that does.
They're
Yeah,
on
I
a
don't know.
different. They're on different like mental wavelengths. That's
I-
impossible.
CJ, what you're talking about is pure idiocy. Nobody cares. The thing I need to understand is there any point at which Shaggy's kind of like, hey Scoob, your relationship is kind of getting in the way of our friendship, and like, I gave up Velma for you is all I'm saying.
I feel like I think there was a moment like
And he's
that.
like, well, you
but
see,
like
Reggie,
overall,
I
he doesn't
think-
really care.
I don't think that a relationship between people
Okay.
needs to interrupt the existing relationships. I think that if you would have been open and honest, perhaps we could have created a dialogue that created a foundation building atmosphere instead of one that destroys.
I did totally skip over this part.
Also,
but
I'm gonna
when,
get with this dog one way or the
Also,
other, Reggie.
when Scooby caught Shaggy and Velma making out is how he found out they were dating, and he literally says, "Shaggy, are you cheating on me?"
Oh.
That's what he said.
Okay.
I don't know what to think of that.
They show up with
Um,
Nova. Do they?
but they-
do
so-
they
so-
talk to Fred? Like, has Fred gotten
Yes,
to meet his
yeah,
actual parents
yeah.
now? Okay.
Yeah, he's very delighted. They also love traps. And
It's
he
genetic.
gets along. Yeah, he gets along swimmingly with them, and
Well, they were
Um,
also the head of the mystery, the old mystery.
they
too.
also though, they are not what they seem. They
God, no one is.
and all of original Mystery Incorporated, including Pericles, meet up and decide they are going to work together to get the planispheric discs again, like they once were.
Minus
and they're-
Professor Pericles or with Professor
Nope,
Pericles?
Pericles joins them again.
But he's
he realized.
It's very
He realized
tense.
that
It's
there
very
was-
tense between them. In fact, does not last very long that Cassidy, aka Angel Dynamite, decides, no, actually, I'm not going to do this again. And she stops working with them. Like, it was like one episode that she was like,
that's,
sure.
that's sheer insanity.
Yeah.
The web.
She doesn't like that. They are also pretty against our current Scooby gang.
Yeah.
That they are trying to harm them actively, and Angel Dynamite is like, I don't want to harm the
But Fred's their
teenagers.
son.
They're
Strange.
not good people. They're not good people,
Okay.
Fran. Fred and
Sure,
Judy
okay.
are not good.
That's
Wait,
disappointing.
wait. So, but the whole thing was that the mayor stole the son as the like, and you need to get out of town or I'm gonna hurt this child. They're like, I don't care.
Yeah, well, he's in jail now, so they can come back.
Right.
No, but
yeah,
you
but-
can like what sort of like. Well, I guess okay. So if you want your baby back, that's one thing because then you can mold them into a little villain. But if they're already grown up and they're all like goody two shoes, you're like, yeah, I'll cut my losses.
This
Like I can
is-
get,
Yeah, they
I can
just-
get another one of these at an orphanage.
They
if you
like
think about it.
it's kind of back and forth for them because they seem to actually like Fred, but also they care about the treasure more. So they
Obsessive.
don't real. So they're
That's
quickly-
the true curse.
they don't mind getting him out of the way. Also,
I like that the parrot has progressed in realizing that there's just a lot in this world that a parrot can't do by
Yeah.
itself. So they need like humans to help out.
yes, yeah.
You
I mean-
could be the smartest. You could be the smartest parrot in the world, but like if
He
you need to like
is.
Still don't
open
have
a door,
hands.
He
Yeah,
still
you can't
he
do
remains
it.
he remains the mastermind. I will
You
say
know,
that. He's
I mean-
the mastermind.
Yeah, CJ, there's also that sort of like Shawshank Redemption effect of just Professor Pericles is like, I haven't been, or I'm sorry, he's German. I have not been in a regular society for 20 years. I do not understand the people here, and I just
Yeah.
want to go home. But
Alright.
also,
I
I do
just
want the
want-
gold so that I can get
want
the
the gold!
seeds.
I want the treasure. More than anything, I will work with these children if it means
You
to
need
get the
to
treasure.
get busy living, or you need to get busy dying, or you need to get the conquistador's gold so that you may have many seeds to eat.
God, Germans love finding conquistador gold.
Yeah, well, so an important thing kind of starts to come to light. So the gang, through some mysteries, ends up uncovering a very, very old journal from one of the original conquistadors.
Oh.
And he talks about how he, like, I think this was the first time it was, like, totally officially confirmed that the Planispheric Disc does indeed lead to the treasure, because he's like, yeah, we mapped out where we hid the treasure.
Man,
on
that
the
would be
Planispheric
bonkers
Disc.
if we got
Right,
this
if
far
you
and it
just
didn't.
didn't.
Yeah, but he also reveals that, so they did put their treasure down there, but also they put something they picked up along on their travels. They found this crystal sarcophagus that corrupted them and caused them to do horrible things. I guess that's the explanation for colonialism, because they were just talking about how horrible they were to everyone.
No one
No.
could do
Obviously,
such a
crystal
horrible
sarcophagus
thing
is
without,
Yeah, it's
without
not-
magic influencing
It's not any
their
other
weak white
reason. It was
minds.
the influence of this crystal sarcophagus corrupting them.
That
So
tracks,
they,
that
Sure.
tracks.
with
Yep.
the rest of their treasure, dumped it in when they sailed up to Crystal Cove. So this crystal sarcophagus is supposedly also with all of that treasure beneath Crystal Cove. They also find out that the Planispheric Disc has to do with alchemy and was created by an alchemist for a Holy Roman Emperor.
Yes.
That's really not important. I just want to say that they found that out.
That's why it's a
Just
circle.
Titillate
It's
CJ
like, well,
a
that's
little
why
bit.
that's why it's kind of magical. It
Yeah,
has some
okay.
magical
It's
elements.
alchemical.
Okay.
What ends up happening is that the Planispheric Disc is a map between dimensions. The treasure is hidden between dimensions. It's
That's-
not just hidden regular
Oh my
beneath
God.
the coves. That's why no one's found it. It's in another dimension in a cove.
That's where I would hide treasure. If I was gonna hide treasure, I'd be like, "Fuck the ground."
The
Idiot
conquistadors in their journal were like, nobody can find this crystal sarcophagus because we think it's evil.
Because
It caused us to do the colonialism, so we're
Put it
gonna
in
put
the-
it underneath
Throw
this
it
random
in
town.
the bottom of the ocean. No one's been there.
It's better to hide something in
I mean,
another
interdimensional
dimension.
hiding is
Yeah.
a pretty good spot for it too.
No, because it's the same. It's the problem with like national treasure stuff. If you're gonna hide a treasure somewhere, the more fantastical it is to get there, the more people are gonna want to do it. If you just put it in like Nova Scotia and bury it in like 1 inch of dirt, no one's gonna like look for it. They're just like, oh, well, they just buried it in Nova Scotia. Who gives a shit?
You underestimate how many people are enthusiastic about metal detecting
About Nova
freelance.
Scotia.
Yeah, Nova Scotia. Um,
Sorry, it's on my mind. It was an
Another
answer to
thing
a
that
crossword
the
puzzle.
gang starts uncovering is that there wasn't just the Mystery Incorporated before them. There have been several mystery gangs for centuries, and it was always 4 people and 1 animal.
Who could talk?
Yes.
This
Who
is-
could talk?
this sucks.
So-
Alright.
All right.
So
This
yeah,
is
so
good. This
over
is the
centuries,
prophecy fulfilled,
always
Ethan.
in
You love
Crystal
this.
Cove, there have always been a mystery gang just like them.
Yes.
But
yes.
every time the gang was betrayed by
The
their animal companion.
Yes.
In
yes.
the search in the search for
Scooby-Doo
this
has
conquistador treasure.
darkness in his
because
heart.
Scooby loves so Nova, and he's gonna betray his friends for his girlfriend dog.
Just like every
We'll
boy
see.
ever.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh.
So there's
Roast
kind of a
before
lot of stuff
roast.
where they learn things about the previous
Witches before
mystery
bitches.
gangs. There's some pretty cool ones. There was a like group of like monks, friar monks,
Cool.
and there was a group of like the town was at one point like a Wild West town, so there was like a bunch of like bandit people
course
that
there
were the
was.
mystery gang.
This-
There was
this-
like in the 1800s, there was like a steampunk themed gang that
Right.
was pretty cool.
This town exists nowhere. It looks like it's the Pacific
I'm
Northwest.
pretty sure it's
but
in California.
yeah, it looks like it's the Pacific Northwest just with all the trees and stuff, but like the Spanish conquistadors went
It's
there
in-
to hide
I think-
treasure.
I think it's implied to be in California.
So like it's nowhere. It's nothing.
Well, so this was like such a quick thing, but I have to say it because it sets up something else. So one of the steampunk It was the Benevolent Lodge of Mystery was their name. One of those
That's a good
steampunk members. She created an underwater laboratory and a horde of German robot soldiers years ago that Pericles finds and starts remaking the soldiers. So now he has
Why were they German?
evil
Also had to
because
get an
she was
underwater lab.
German. Because she
Okay.
was German, I guess, and it fits because he's also German, I
Yeah.
guess.
That's the only
But,
reason
like,
he could do it
they're-
is he could
they
read the
are-
instruction
they're
manual.
They're very evocative of Nazi imagery because they have like the gas
Surprising.
masks. Yeah. But
Odd.
This army will rule for 1,000 years. I'm a
Pericles,
parrot.
Pericles takes control of this old robot army. So now he has a robot army of Nazi soldiers. When the gang is in this underwater facility where trying to solve that mystery, they find like the corpse of that original Benevolent Lodge of Mystery member.
I'm sorry.
Oh
Well,
my.
I'm sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but I want while we're doing this, are we still in a Monster of the Week format, or have we kind of thrown that aside at this point?
No, we're still in that.
Okay.
Like each monster.
This was
of the week,
the
like,
Monster
leads
of the
to-
Week episode. This was like this episode.
Okay.
Well, so that corpse, they like touch it, and it somehow says something to them.
Ew.
It says the word Nibiru, which all of them are like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But when they're
Must be
escaping the
German.
facility, Cassidy, Angel Dynamite, was assisting them on this mission. She drowns. She dies. She does not come back.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Original
boy.
Mystery Inc. was trying to kill her anyway, and they succeed. She dies in that episode.
Whoa.
So no more Cassidy. So Nibiru, Velma looks up information about this and just finds out about it right away. So
All right.
are you ready? In Babylonian mythology, Nibiru is a giant planet that lines up with the Earth's solar system every 3,600
Mhm.
years and allows the sentient inhabitants of Nibiru to interact with humanity. The sentient
Okay.
inhabitants are named the Anunnaki, and they are also humanity's first gods. It's
Yep.
implied that all of the ancient Egyptian gods are the Anunnaki, Quetzalcoatl, the Chinese Monkey King. Any
Yeah.
animalistic type god in any
Son of
mythology was the Anunnaki.
Okay, I
Is that where the
need to-
talking animals come from?
Yes, Fran.
Oh my god! I need to point. Scooby-Doo's an alien. Oh my god. I need to point out so quickly that this actually is what some people believe, and
Yes.
all of the like ancient alien Egyptian
Yeah, this
people
is ancient
think
alien
that the
stuff.
pyramids are giant, like telepathic enhancers, so that when the planet gets close, it can like interlock with the planet and then transport people between the two planets during the planetal alignment.
Yes. No.
Because
Okay.
I went into a bit of a YouTube rabbit hole one day and I learned a lot.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Liz
Yeah,
started
this
to
is-
talk about this. I was just like, oh, my crazy old father had told me
Yeah.
about exactly this.
This
This
is a
is-
real
This
thing.
is my
people
first
believe.
time hearing about it. I'm having a lovely
Pretty
time.
pretty classic ancient alien stuff.
I-
Is in Scooby-Doo as legit. So this is now a new threat, is that there is
shit.
the threat of an actual doomsday.
Oh.
There is doomsday. But also, yes, as a side note, the descendants of Anunnaki are animals that can talk. So Scooby-Doo is in fact an alien.
So like Anubis was like a talking
Yes.
dog, basically.
Sure.
Cool.
So also we learned
Sure.
that
So,
the
hold
crystal sarcophagus is an Anunnaki.
Of course.
There's basically, they're implied that Anunnaki are either great and good or they're evil, and there's like no in between.
Just like
And
people.
the most evil of all Anunnaki, they sealed away in a crystal sarcophagus years ago.
And then put it in
Oh.
California.
No, it
No,
was
it's
in
another dimension.
It was in Mexico. Who went and took things from Mexico?
That's
Spanish
right.
conquistadors.
That's where I hide everything.
Yet
that's
another proof.
important.
Yet, I mean, colonialism really has done us no
Oh.
favors ever.
Holy shit! Those white people never should have invaded those
So-
poor Mexicans.
So that's
well,
why
they
it's in
didn't want
California.
to, CJ. It was just the
It was because the
influence.
sarcophagus wanted to be discovered, just like the ring of Sauron.
That's
They
okay.
were
That's literally
such
what's happening
good
here.
White people, but
So
then
what's
the sarcophagus
It all
So
makes
this
sense.
sarcophagus is so evil that it has corrupted the town it has been sealed beneath. So that's why Crystal Cove is the most haunted place on Earth, that
'Cause
everyone
everyone
is
must be
driven
evil
to
things.
villainy. Yeah, that's why it
Mm.
sucks there. And also, that's why there have always been people looking for the treasure, because it has always been trying to draw
It
people
calls
to
the
find it.
ring-bearer. Yeah.
So that's why there's always been this gang of 4 people and an animal. It's always been because of
Always in a
this evil
circle.
sarcophagus using its psychic powers to draw people to find it, so that it will they'll hopefully become too corrupted and open it up.
I have a question about Professor Pericles.
Please.
So
Okay, let's go back to the parrot.
is well,
Fucking
the
bird,
implication
yeah.
is that any animal that talks is a descendant of these Anunnaki, but parrots just talk. So,
Yeah,
like, is
so-
he a normal parrot that happened to get corrupted by the spirit of
So,
the sarcophagus,
Fran-
or are all parrots descendants of the Anunnaki?
Fran, I
can
had the
monkeys that
same
do
question.
Sign language, are they descendants?
I had the same question, and I've concluded that no, he is not an Anunnaki descendant.
He's just a parrot, right?
Yeah, because he also has like a huge head. Like, he's implied to be so smart.
Oh my god.
He's the smartest parrot there is. So I think he's
Okay.
just a parrot that's really smart and gets
corrupted by the crystal sarcophagus.
Yeah,
Got
so
it,
this
okay.
is also
Perfect.
explaining how
Love it.
Oh my god.
the sarcophagus always corrupted the animal character because it's closest to animals.
Okay, so it doesn't
So
have
it
to
always
be an
corrupted them
Anunnaki.
most.
It has to just be their
Yeah,
animal sidekick.
I don't think all of the other animals sidekicks
Listen.
talked. I think some of them did.
Liz,
What?
is Jabberjaw an ancient alien?
I hope so. He's in the universe. To get back on track, it's become pretty clear that crystal sarcophagus corrupts very easily everyone who goes looking for this treasure. So that's
Thomas.
also why the old Mystery Incorporated is all
Evil.
mean and evil,
Mhm.
and
Killing people?
Pericles is far gone. He is so crazy. That was one of my notes.
Yeah, it just says, I'm looking at the notes, it just says Pericles is so crazy.
He is so crazy because
Okay,
How
It's-
crazy
it
is
turns
he?
He's
out-
an
at one
army of
point-
robot Nazis.
yeah, he has that army of robot soldier Nazis, and at one point it becomes clear that like he did not make this obvious earlier. It seemed like he was just going for the treasure, but at one point he turns and is like, "No, I know about the crystal sarcophagus, and I'm going to open it." So it has turned into a more of an
Gonna
ultimate
release.
power thing
Hmm.
because he is thinking that it will
Okay.
bring him power and wealth.
Again, unknown what a parrot would do
Wealth
with
in
either.
seeds.
He'd become the supreme ruler of the universe, obviously, I guess. So Cassidy Williams is deceased, but the rest of the original Mystery Incorporated, still working together. However, Pericles is going so crazy that Brad and Judy are obviously just really intimidated by him to keep working with him. And Ricky, Mr. E, at one point is like, "No, this is going too far. I'm not going to do it anymore."
Zoinks, man.
He
This
tries.
is too heavy
He
for me.
tries to leave. This was insane to me. But Pericles is like, "No, you can't, because when you were sleeping, I injected into you little mechanic things in your spine that will inject viper venom when you disobey me."
This
How
is
did
just
he
like
inject
this
it?
is
He
just
has
like
wings.
I do not know. It was like when you were
What?
sleeping, I put
It's like-
things in your spine.
He's just like the Pillar Man.
So if at the push of a button, he can kind of like paralyze and harm Ricky, Mr. E.
Well, that's just
So
a
he
battle
has-
royale at this point. All right.
So he has no choice but to continue working for him under threat of his life, basically.
All right, Lizzie, bring us to the climax of the story.
Yeah, so the gang did get all of the pieces of the Planispheric Disc,
where were
and
they?
they're around town.
About.
It's hard
Just
to
around?
explain.
Okay.
Yeah, they're around.
Well, I knew where like 4 of them were, so.
There's 6
Well,
of
they
them
had
around
3.
town.
At the end of
Right.
season
And
1.
when you put them together, they actually led not to the treasure, but to 4 different keys. It was
Of course.
a bowl, a conquistador helmet, a pistol, and a piece of sailcloth.
There's a boat
Okay.
cloth.
And
a
all of
bowl,
these keys
a hat,
are
the
to
gun.
help open the doors to the treasure.
Okay.
So Pericles uses his robot army to capture everyone in town and start digging beneath Crystal Cove. And they do find
Just
a
enslaving
door
humanity.
that looks like the Planispheric Disc.
Why
They then
wouldn't you
use the
just have
Planispheric
robots
Disc
do
as a
that?
key to open this door in this huge fight in which, yes, Scooby and Shaggy dress up like the robot Nazi soldiers and use machine guns to kill a lot of them. That's a thing that happened. And
a lot of
there's
the
screenshot-
robots.
Yep,
Okay.
yes, the robots. There's a screenshot of Scooby floating around in that armor holding the machine guns saying, they drew first blood.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's where that comes from. So they go through the first door using the Planispheric Disc, and it turns out the 4 keys they have found are a key to 4 different gates going into 4 different dimensions, where the final one is where the treasure and sarcophagus
The
is.
4 pillars of the world, right?
Um,
right.
each key has to do with an element, and that's how you open each door. I totally forgot to say that before this, Nova, the dog, she fell into a stampede of monster cows and went into a coma. And
What?
her
Nova.
heart stops, and she comes back to life and speaks to Scooby-Doo to tell him that Nibiru is coming. And she, from now going forward, acts as like a spirit guide. She is possessed by an Anunnaki to warn Scooby about what's happening with the crystal sarcophagus.
How could
Whoa.
you forget that? That's the best part.
I know. So she does talk eventually. She's only possessed. She was a normal dog, but she got
Okay.
possessed.
Wait,
by an
is
Anunnaki.
Scooby possessed?
No,
No,
Scooby's
Scooby just is a
actually a
descendant.
descendant.
Yeah.
I also forgot to
We went
say
over
that
this.
this is really important too, is that before the underground stuff beneath Crystal Cove, they also went to Mexico because they found out the very first mystery gang was a group of Mayan teenagers and their pet jaguar. They were the
love
hunters of the hunters of secrets.
Hmm.
And
That's
they
cool.
actually they knew about the crystal sarcophagus, and they created something to destroy it called the heart of the jaguar, which is like a crystal heart put on a spear. And but before they could do that, the conquistadors took it. So
Classic conquistadors.
so they did go
love
to
taking
Mexico
that
to
kind of
get
shit.
that was buried with that the original mystery gang.
Mm.
Well, hold on. Did these white teenagers do a
Yeah,
grave
they just
robbing?
took it. They just took it.
Very
Yeah,
good.
they're
They,
grave robbing.
they broke open a tomb.
I don't think
In
that
the
we
Yucatan
have had
I'm sorry,
an episode.
archaeology.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think we've had an episode to date where a bunch of white people didn't dig up a bunch of artifacts and be like, but it's fine because plot.
Ponies. Not people.
Surely those ponies were white.
So the gang gets through all of these gates, not without a sacrifice from a hot dog water who holds off Pericles and lets them escape
she
into the
die?
gates. Hot dog water died too.
Okay, well,
Um
easy come, easy go.
Poor
yeah,
Velma.
so they get through all the gates, but Pericles and
someone better.
original mystery gang does follow them through all of the gates and to the point where they find the treasure. It's there, as well as the crystal sarcophagus, and the planets align just in time as they find it. So the time of Nibiru begins, and the evil entity, is at its strongest when that is happening. So basically it all starts going to shit because Pericles was hoping that Scooby would the evil entity would embody Scooby so it could become flesh and break free of its bindings.
Uh-huh.
But that doesn't work out, and instead Pericles is like, you know what, fuck it, inhabit me, evil entity. So the evil entity consumes Pericles and he becomes kind of like monstery looking.
Why?
But
It's a
then
bird.
it's too much for him, and it
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
overtakes him, and Pericles is gone. Now it's just an evil, parody-looking tentacle monster.
Oh.
That is the
Cthulhu.
evil entity. Yeah,
Sure.
but it's
If
still
you
not
would've-
totally
if you would've
free.
Asked me just like at the beginning of this, just kind of like a quick quiz question. How important do you think this parrot I'm talking about will be to the plot? I would
Very.
have gotten the
He's like the
question
villain.
wrong.
Ethan, you should when Liz went out of the way to say it is a German parrot, that should have rang alarm
You
bells in
should
your
have
head.
just known.
Mhm.
Oh, he's evil.
So yeah, it continues to go to shit because then the evil entity then proceeds to eat and kill Mr. E, who dies protecting the gang in kind of a redemption.
Yeah,
and Brad and
So
Brad
much
and
death.
Judy. And then he also erupts, like suddenly they're just underneath Crystal Cove like normally, and he erupts from underneath town and just starts eating everybody in town. It's it's kind of scary, honestly. I thought it was kind of scary.
No shit, that's kind of
Did they
scary.
not
So
have
for children,
The heart of the
That's
jaguar?
some Lovecraftian bullshit.
so Scooby tries to use the heart of the jaguar on it, and it breaks, and
It
it does not work.
doesn't have thumbs.
That's a problem.
So then Nova appears to Scooby, a la Mufasa in the sky, to Simba.
Wait, is she dead? I thought she was alive.
I'm pretty sure she's like dead, and her corpse got possessed by the
Yeah.
Anunnaki.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
that's-
sure.
Yeah,
Macabre.
Yeah.
It's possessed.
because she doesn't come back after this, I don't think.
Neat.
So, but she tells Scooby, the heart of the jaguar is not a physical power.
No.
It is a spiritual power.
Mhm.
And the gang realizes the entity cannot harm them. It's because their friendship is real. They were not manipulated
Friendship is
by
magic.
the entity to come together. They were actually friends, and they all love each other.
Only through,
And Scooby.
only through Fred's weird
So,
autism.
It's up to them to
Shaggy's
stand together.
passion for his dog. Velma's
Scooby's love for
homosexuality
only his
and
dog
Daphne's
and not women.
heterosexuality has hardened them into an unstoppable force.
So, Scooby does manage. He just kind of hits it on the sarcophagus, and it breaks it. He hits it hard enough to break it, and the entity, like a portal opens from doing this, and the entity is sucked into this like time space
Yep,
portal
that's the void.
completely.
Yeah, you don't want to be
Yeah.
in there.
And then like it just kind of fades to black, and then-
Credit roll.
then opens again, and the gang are just standing there in Crystal Cove like nothing happened.
Oh.
It's normal. However, they look at the sign because they're standing by the sign of Crystal Cove, and the sign does not say the most haunted place on Earth. It says the sunniest place on Earth. And everyone they see around them has no idea what they're talking about. They're like, "What? Everyone, you're here. You're okay." And they're like, because a lot of people were implied to have died and been eaten.
Yeah.
Like all the other main
Yeah.
characters and recurring characters were definitely dead. But they're just like, what are you talking about? Just a normal day in the sunniest place on Earth. And so that
That's the
portal was not
scariest
just was not just a regular portal. It was a time space portal that the entity went into, and therefore it never existed. So
Mhm.
they have created a whole other timeline where Crystal Cove was never corrupted. So no one was ever driven to crime so easily. No one was
That's a
ever
good question.
evil. Nothing is haunted.
White
Conquistadors
man never
took
came.
over.
The conquistadors never did colonialism.
Fred is a Mexican now.
So they are literally the only people who remember any of that, and everyone else is like super happy. Like the sheriff and the new mayor, Janet, are like a couple. They were a couple in season 2, but they're like
Aw.
they have like children when they see them.
Aww.
Fred has his original birth parents, and they're
And
like
they
good
don't suck?
people.
Nice.
Yep, they're like good people. They're
Okay.
doctors. He and Daphne are engaged. They find that out from their parents.
They could
and
just do that. You know.
Shaggy is like a famous teen chef instead of
Aw.
a slacker. I guess he was implied to be.
Well, but
and-
he like physically is still, because presumably they remember everything. So like his
But they just like plopped in a different alternate good timeline.
right,
basically.
but like his personality as it is very lazy,
Yeah.
which is a very difficult thing to be when you are
A chef.
popular chef.
Yes.
So that's not going to work out
well,
for him.
so and then Ricky and Cassidy are alive, and they are married and happy and own a company. And Pericles is their adorable pet parrot,
Who isn't evil or
Aw.
German?
who isn't
Still?
evil. I think he's still German. He still talks.
Better keep
Okay.
an eye on that one.
Hot Dog Water is alive and implied to be dating Velma.
Is she called Marcy in this world? Is there
Nope,
any?
still Hot Dog Water.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. So apparently the world being bad had nothing
yeah,
to do
but
with her
everyone
smell.
loves the gang. They are not disliked. Everyone really likes them. But their actions created a timeline so perfect there's no mysteries to be solved.
I was gonna say, they don't have any reason to be a gang anymore.
It ends with the gang getting a message from kind of like a really, really minor character that showed up in one episode, who also is aware of the timeline changes, that he was just like, such a weird throwaway that he was like, oh yeah, I've always been aware of any timeline changes, so I know that happened. I want to give you guys full ride scholarships to this really prestigious university to be in my class.
Is he like the Watcher?
I have no idea. I was like,
the implication.
What? Okay.
He watches.
Cool.
And so they end with the gang is like, well, I guess we're all going to go to college together. Let's road trip there because it's on the other side of the country, and let's solve mysteries along the way.
Huh.
And that's the end of Mystery Incorporated in season
cute.
2.
Wow. That's so classic anime. You just have one season to do the setup and then the other season to go crazy.
They go crazy. Yeah, really crazy. Final thoughts or any lingering questions?
I just want to point out that Liz did make me watch an episode where so Scooby-Doo is by far the most profitable thing that the studio that owns Scooby-Doo, the
Hanna-Barbera
/ Warner
Brothers.
Yeah.
/ Viacom, I think at this point.
Whatever.
By far the most profitable thing that they still have.
Yes.
Like
Well, for
they
Hanna-Barbera,
are milking Scooby-Doo dry at this point. But one of the things that happened from all of that is that there's about 1,000 Scooby-Doo spin-offs where it is a mystery gang with a quirky fifth character who is a talking animal or something like that.
They're called Scooby-Doo clones. I believe there's about 20 of them. Because they're like, this works well. Why don't we just keep trying to do that?
Almost all of them also owned by Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
There's one episode where Scooby has a literal fever dream where he meets several of the other mystery gangs that are parody clones of his own mystery gang, and then all of the sidekicks team up to solve a mystery together.
Yes.
And there's a car that talks.
Yeah, Speed Buggy.
He goes
Speed Buggy.
See, Ethan
there's
knows
Jabberjaw, who I mentioned to Fran, who is a shark.
Yeah.
Who talks and he goes,
Oh.
and he's a cowardly shark.
There's Captain Caveman.
There's Captain Caveman, who is in the
I've
Scooby-Doo
heard
movie.
that one.
Captain Caveman.
He wasn't played by the guy from 30 Rock, so I didn't care.
In Scoob.
And
Where's Captain Caveman from?
He's from Captain Caveman.
He's from Captain Caveman.
It's the show.
And
Yeah,
he's
it's
also
just a
from
show,
Wacky,
right?
He's
Yeah.
from Wacky Racers also. And
Okay.
then there was one I'd never known before that
Funky
is
Phantom.
a ghost from the colonial times.
The Funky
who
Phantom.
also has a ghost cat from the colonial times.
Well.
Which feels like a hat on a hat. Also, they're both wearing
Willikers.
hats. So it's kind of like 3 hats on top of each other.
There's even more than that. They
There's 4
technically
total
count. They technically count Josie and the Pussycats as a Scooby clone. There's a lot of really obscure ones that a lot of people haven't heard of, but there's a lot of them.
I don't know why they made Scooby an alien. I think that you can just have a fantastical talking dog and it not being an alien. But I will
thought
say
what was funny about that was that no one ever acknowledged that it was weird.
that's good. I will say that
It's a
in the course
history of
of
talking animals, apparently. So
in the course of doing this, Liz turned me onto a webtoon called Shag and Scoob, which I highly recommend, which follows a similar fashion that starts out pretty normal and gets very anime and stupid. But other than that, I will say I don't like that they characterized German parrots as evil. I think all German parrots
not evil in the
have the
end.
capacity for good. So
He's a regular German parrot at the very end in the good
in
timeline
a different dimension.
when he wasn't corrupted. Yeah.
Ethan, what's one of your takes?
There exists an alternate dimension where Germans are good sometimes.
Sorry, German people.
Again,
Anyone listening.
welcome if you're from Germany.
But no, I really enjoy how this puts the rest of the series into perspective, because I now understand that Scrappy-Doo is canonically an Anunnaki who embodies evil instead of goodness like Scooby does,
Yeah,
because
I
that's
think
how
that's
they
correct.
work.
I think you're right.
It's beautiful.
Fran, final thoughts?
I just have wonders of if the sarcophagus wasn't there to do the colonialism, how in the world is there a mostly, I presume, white town in the implied California region that is
I don't know.
pseudo-America?
There are white people in California.
It's
I don't know.
actually just 50 miles north.
But how
of
did they get
now.
there if they didn't do the
they did it.
colonialism?
They did it, but they did it the
Well,
right
they
way.
also-
where they met with the locals and they said, we want to integrate with your society.
They also
not
implied
take
though
it
that the conquistadors like vanished once they like put their
Mhm.
treasure there, and there was like also like a Wild West town. So I don't know.
It's
I also have to say that if I had a nickel for every time Scooby-Doo fell in love with an alien masquerading to be a dog, I'd have two
You'd have
nickels,
like
which
4
isn't
nickels.
a lot.
Yeah,
It's not
like,
a lot, but it's weird it happened twice.
Yeah, it is weird that it
at
happened
least
twice.
that we remember.
There is a movie where Scooby and Shaggy fall in love with this girl and her dog, who end up turning out to be aliens.
Mm.
Lizzie, you're pretty wise to all of these cryptid stuff. Is there something that the viewers here can check you out on?
Yeah, so I write and illustrate a webtoon comic that's called Finding Fiends. You can read it on the Webtoon app or online at webtoon.com. And you can also find me anywhere online, usually under Lizard X Lizard. On Twitter, I'm at LizardX because Lizard X Lizard was taken. If you ever hear this, I hate you. I'm also Lizard X Lizard on Instagram, and that's where you can find me and find a link to that webtoon.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You've saved the day. We've learned a little bit of lore. I don't think any of us could have had the sort of emotional and spiritual depth to understand without you. So thank you very much for coming on this show. Let's wrap things up here. Hey, we're a tiny show. We are solely based on you guys telling your friends. Let your friends know about the show. Give it to your family. Annoy them. Really rub it in their face.
Put
because,
stars on it.
yeah, follow us, subscribe, depending on where you're at. We are at Spices With on Twitter. Come check us out. You might get a little sneak peek to the episodes like I sent out for this one, with some screen caps of Scooby looking quite badass with a machine gun, killing a bunch of Nazi robots. And check out our YouTube. We do Let's Plays. Me and Ethan make funny jokes a lot. And just get in there, man. Be our friend. Give us the business. We want to hear from you.
All right. Thanks for listening to The Lore You Know. I've been Fran.
I've been Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Phoenix Legions, and loyal servant to the true emperor, Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
And I'm CJ, and we are closing the book on this one.
Scooby Dooby Doo.
Scooby Dooby Doo.